So I got 5 wide receiver sleepers here for you, and I want to kind of roll through the top, and then we'll reveal like the final 3. It's like drum roll time. I think my favorite wide receiver sleeper, and I'm not breaking any news to see a lot of people on this guy as well, is KJ Osborne of the Minnesota Vikings. So KJ Osborne last year, there was a couple things that were really telling for me with KJ Osborne to start last year, to start games. They really got him involved in like the first or second down reps, like not just first and second down, I say like first and second possessions. And I think that's very telling because that means he's part of the game script. Usually these coaches have, plays lined up in the first couple of possessions that they're going to have to start the game and also to start the second half. And we saw multiple games last year, especially at the start of the season when KJ Osborne came onto the scene where he was involved in the offense. And then, of course, later on in the season, as you see the note there, when Adam Thielen suffered the injury, KJ Osborne certainly got more run. He scored 5 touchdowns in his final 6 games. He averaged 13 fantasy points per game in a full point setting. Last year, he finished as wide receiver 40, and he's going as wide receiver 68. I kind of have him in that range as well, but I think he's a really, really strong target. The A-dot is a healthy A-dot, average depth of target at 10.43. Red zone targets at 19. It's really all about the difference in this offense and what it's going to look like. Kevin O'Connell is now the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, he was the offensive coordinator in LA, but we all know Sean McVay called the plays, but also he was involved, right? They ran a lot of 11 personnel last year in Los Angeles. In fact, a league high 11 personnel, 86% of the time, 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver sets. What we know about the Vikings over the past couple of years with Zimmer, it's been a defensive squad, but defense has not been great, but he's a defensive-minded head coach, and they ran the rock a lot with Dalvin Cook. And when Dalvin Cook wasn't there, Alexander Madison. But over the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of Justin Jefferson. We've seen Adam Thielen be a touchdown maker, but now he's, I think, 32. He had an injury last year. I like Thielen. I think he's a good target, but also like KJ Osborne is a guy that's not going to cost you a whole lot, that I think the offense will be a little bit different. People are saying that Justin Jefferson's going to have the Cooper Kupp role, and sure, he may have the Cooper Kupp role in the Kevin O'Connell offense, but they're also going to run a lot of 3 wide, and that benefits a guy like KJ Osborne. So give me all the Osborne that I can get. My number 2 wide receiver sleeper is Tim Patrick of the Denver Broncos. I really like this guy overall as a player. He is a big body wide receiver, 6'4", and has outproduced Jerry Jeudy over the last 2 seasons. I like Jerry Jeudy. I think Judy's going to have a really good season with Russell Wilson as the quarterback, but Russell Wilson can support 3 wide receivers. I think it's slightly going to be a run-heavy team using both Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. The defense is really, really strong, but they're also going to get into a lot of shootouts this year, and particularly inside the division. It's loaded. It's absolutely loaded. But Tim Patrick's had back-to-back strong seasons, very similar seasons, 5 touchdowns, 85 targets, A-dot healthy again. Look at the red zone targets, 21. He led the Broncos last year with 8 end zone targets, 8 end zone targets. Cortland Sutton had 7. You know how many Jerry Jeudy had last year? 0. 0 end zone targets for Jerry Jeudy. Of course, it's certainly a big upgrade at the quarterback position. There's no question it's a huge upgrade. Russell Wilson's got one of the better deep balls that we've ever seen in the game. He's been one of the most accurate quarterbacks over the last dozen years. This is a huge upgrade for everybody in this offense. Tim Patrick's not going to cost you anything. Wide receiver 58, ADP of 140 last year, finished as wide receiver 42. He is absolutely athletic. He is a baller inside the red zone. He's going to be a big body. I wouldn't be shocked if he's the number 1 red zone option for Russell Wilson. These are the other 3 that I like inside as wide receiver sleepers. Tyler, if you have it, the board of the 5, Jamison Crowder, Joshua Palmer, Byron Pringle. There's really not a whole lot going on in Chicago. That's why I like Pringle. As for Palmer, I just feel like this is the first wide receiver that they drafted for Justin Herbert a couple years ago. I love Herbert in this offense, so I think he could be the number 2 or number 3 in the passing game. And then just Jamison Crowder, going to Buffalo. He's a cheap play. He's not going to cost you a whole lot. He's going to take the role of Cole Beasley, who had 693 yards last year and 82 grabs in the year before. 82 grabs, 967 yards. I'm with everybody else. I like Gabe Davis as well. He's, he's not cheap. I think he's going to return value though. But Jamison Crowder in this offense, that's going to be probably one of the best offenses in football in the slot. I think he's going to have a pretty strong season, especially in PPR.